Next candidate, I can't hold myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well-
really hope it's Mike Brown.
The next candidate is Mike Brown, who you look at his resume in terms of the win totals and what he did in Cleveland with LeBron. Pretty special. His overall record as a head coach, 347 and 216. He started his coaching career when he was 35 years old. Head coaching career when he was 35 years old with the Cavs. Spent 5 seasons there at a 620 win percentage. Obviously elite. Obviously having LeBron help that. But let's not lose sight of the fact that it's not like that roster was stacked with a whole bunch of all-stars
Right.
unless you're going to hype Mo Williams to me and Boobie Gibson and Anderson Varejao. After that, he went to the Lakers during that kind of weird time, right, with Dwight, 41 and 25 in that one season. And then the next year, he got blown out after 5 games, 1 and 4. Then he went back to Cleveland for one season, 33 and 49. So he last coached. It's been a while since he's been a head coach in the league since that opportunity. And he's been with the Warriors since 2016.
And I could be completely wrong, but I feel like he has a bad rap because of some of those seasons as a head coach, and just there's certain things thrown at him, right? And you're going to see that with head coaches throughout the NBA where it's like, what? But they did shit there. They did nothing there, especially when they're experienced head coaches. That's going to happen. But at the same time, not only does context matter, but also it doesn't mean that now, since he's been on other coaching staffs, that things have changed, the way that he would be a head coach, the way that he views other things. One of my favorite things, again, from The Athletic, Sam Amick, what he said to us was that Mike Brown has like an OCD kind of personality with the way that not only that he picks out his suits and his outfits, he's so prepared, but the way that he coaches too. I dig the shit out of that because I have the OCD mentality where it's not a true problem, but I love organizing. I love being organized. I love planning. If he's into that and he's into structure, discipline, all those wonderful things that we've been talking about, that De'Aaron Fox has been talking about, I'm there. I'm not acting like, oh, I'm all in because of that. He's also a really good person. There's been other things about him coaching the Nigerian basketball team and not even accepting a salary. They obviously, made sure they took care of him in other ways, but not accepting a salary because the game was so important to him and basketball is so important to him. And that's what was the main focus for him, even in that situation.
Well, as you just heard from Mike Brown's PR person, I guess, Maureen Reagan,
I just like him a lot. And I'm not acting like I'm going to be crushed if he's not the coach.
A couple of things I do like about him. He's been around great coaches.
He has.
Greg Popovich. Mm-hmm. To this day, they're close friends. Rick Carlisle in Indiana, the first go-around. Steve Kerr. He's been around great coaches, great players. Tim Duncan, of course. Pretty damn good player in San Antonio. Then LeBron. A young LeBron.
Yeah.
And I understand having LeBron on your team makes things a little bit easy, but I think sometimes he gets shit on because, well, his other times weren't great, and the only time he was winning was with LeBron. And it's like, if anything tells you, look at LeBron in the NBA and tell me it's easy coaching him. Please. Please tell me it's easy to coach a LeBron team. It's not easy. There's a lot of things you have to juggle. He won Coach of the Year in 2009. I feel like he has great relationships with his players, his coaches. Michael Malone was on his staff, by the way, in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So he's got good taste.
Good taste in that.
He also said this. When I first started coaching, most of the coaches were type A personalities. I was too. You coached differently 15 years ago. The players were different. The league was different. To be around Steve, to feel and see and smell and taste the richness that he brings to the table, but also the respect he gets, it's a beautiful thing to watch. He goes on to talk about how he absorbs his environment with the Warriors. He saw how well it worked, saw how it gave players a voice, realized how this was one more thing that players appreciated and that provided a sense of freedom without sacrificing performance on the court. He said, you learn a lot from those players, especially from guys that have been around for a long time and been with a lot of different teams, been in losing situations and winning situations. You learn a lot about how to coach them. Those guys have all been very instrumental in my growth, not only as a coach, but also as a person. Mike Brown was a head coach at a very young age.
Yep.
35 years old. And he was thrown into the fire to coach what could be one of the best players, if not the best player to ever play in the NBA.
Correct.
I think this is a guy that has learned a lot. He's been around Durant, Curry, Thompson, Draymond, LeBron, Duncan, great coaches. He knows defense. He's been around Kerr to know about having that culture. There's a lot of things to like here. And in my dream, in Deuce Mason's dream scenario, that's not going to happen.
Oh, I thought you had a dream.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
But like there is something to be said that maybe you can get Mike Brown as head coach.
Okay.
And if the Kings were willing to fork out some money and do some convincing, could you have Steve Clifford as his associate? Because Clifford was on his staff with the Lakers. Now, if you're Clifford, is that something you'd want to take? A lead job with the Kings? Like, I don't know. Okay, that's probably a long shot. But the idea, I think, is not a bad one.
Hey, well, it's not a bad one. And you also know if the Kings, by the Kings' track record, if for some reason Mike Brown was fired really quickly, you'd be quickly to be the interim head coach.
No.
Don't even go there.
I do like Mike Brown as a coaching candidate. I think he's had the time, the perspective since his first go around, and I think he's ready for a new opportunity. Now, for him too, I think he's got to be sold by the Kings, and I think that's something that some of the media and that covers the Warriors have talked about, is that Brown is eager to become a head coach again, but he'd have to feel the Kings are the right fit for him to leave Golden State.
Which makes sense.
And that's not an easy thing.